Hard Rockology Show, Chris and Matt. Brand new music from Scream Serenity. The song is called Twisted from the band's latest EP, Beyond This Land. And joining us on the Hard Rockology Show, guitarist, vocalist, Jordan Fennell and Ian Messenger. Did I mess it up again?
No, you got it.
Guys, thanks for taking time out to talk to Hard Rockology.
You're more than welcome. Thanks for having us.
All right, guys. First off, I want to say congratulations on this new 4-track EP. Sounds great, but I'm going to have to say this. It does sound completely different than the last EP you guys released, Withered Hearts to Withered Bones. So, I mean, is this just a progression of the band, or is this the direction you want to take the band?
I think, well, the biggest progression in terms of the band itself was obviously the member changes. We lost Ethan, our old drummer, and we got Johnny in, and we lost Jason on bass, and we got Paul in, and it really lifted the band
from day one, wasn't it? It was just complete change from day one. It was just a different approach. You were able to sort of step into a studio and sort of almost just felt comfortable, didn't it? It was just like the band had been together for years. It's just like
basically. Yeah. And from there on, the writing process and everything has just been so smooth. And in terms of the changes between the two EPs, this new EP, Beyond This Land, is definitely the direction that we want the band to head in. These songs have been sitting here for a little while, and we've had them in our catalogue for a while, and we just wanted to bring them to the forth. Really, we wanted to go all out with this EP. We want to show the world, what we can do, what we're about, and I think that we've done that with it.
Yeah, definitely.
I like the song we just played, Twisted. It's got a cool up-tempo beat to it, and it's got some great riffs. Tell me a little bit about that song. How did that one come about?
One of my biggest influences was Theory of a Dead Man, sort of from quite a while back. And I've kind of followed that band quite closely, and those guys sort of influenced the song quite a bit. We use the word influence to make it sound like we haven't ripped it off entirely, But the sort of song itself is kind of about a girl who just can't fit in anywhere. She doesn't feel like that she belongs anywhere, kind of so messed up that, as the lyrics say, that nobody wants to know. And it's just kind of about getting away from a life where nobody cares about you, I guess, really. So, and I think the sort of songwriting and the style of the song sort of goes with that quite well. It's quite a driving song, and trying to get out of there as sort of fast as you can, really. So,
well, one of the things I noticed between the two EPs is that the new one, Beyond This Land, has got much more of a live feel to it. In a way, it sounds more reminiscent of something. I mean, it's got a 70s feel too, but it's also got a somewhat of a feel from like the early 90s when the guitar playing came back in. It was just that all-out band type of a sound. So, I mean, was that another type of style you were going for as well too? Because the first EP, to me, has got a little bit of a Alice in Chains, kind of like that post-grunge type of a sound to it, and this has gone back a little bit. I mean, you stepped it up on the guitar playing, the drumming, and it's got much more of a hard rock type of sound to this.
It's kind of got like a late 80s, early 90s vibe.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, that is... I think that's also kind of partly down to the fact that the production on it, obviously. I mean, I own a recording studio, and we did all the recording there, and the production differences are very different, and I do like to try and go for a very live sounding production. When we play live, we like to put on a massive show, and it's always really nice to try and get that feel, tracked. And it's a very difficult job to do, but I do really feel like we've done it with this.
Yeah.
So tell me about the EP cover. I want to know who the silhouette is on that cover. Who is that?
Well, there's been a massive debate among us about whether or not we wanted to try and introduce a character called the Screamer.
Yeah.
It's we call our fans Screamers, and we wanted to bring a symbol to that. And there was a big debate within the band on whether or not we wanted to do a whole kind of character, like the guy that Disturbed used I mean, Iron Maiden have got Eddie. So we wanted to try and bring something like that into the band,
which you don't see often anyway. You don't really. You just tends to be sort of the standard logo, or the band behind it, and we wanted to get the old character involved, didn't we? And
yeah, we wanted to try and make the whole thing more of a rounded brand, if you will. Really, we kind of thought that we'd keep it a silhouette so we can develop it later on. There was so much kind of different opinions on what we wanted and stuff like that, so we just kind of ended up saying, right, we'll put a silhouette of a guy on there, and then we can look at it again at a later date.
We reeled it in a couple of times and threw it back out, didn't we? And then we just thought, no, this does look right.
The ideas kept changing so much, and we kind of settled on having him in there, and we'll develop him as time goes on and kind of sort of bring him out more and more and kind of bring him to the fore, really.
Well, I mean, it's great to have a male screamer, but why not a female screamer? Aren't those the better? The two.
Actually, we did debate about with some of our merchandise having on the back of the female T-shirts, "I'm a screamer."
There you go. I mean,
Matt, it's still a process in the works, so it could be a female screamer. We don't know yet.
There was one prominent idea with him was really sort of taking it from the whole Beyond This Land sort of concept, I guess, and having a Jonah Hill sort of type character, where he'd kind of been down into hell and kind of had come back and was kind of disfigured and sort of badly burnt, and so it was all quite sort of comic book based.
I wanted to go back a little bit before your first EP. You guys were all playing, and then took some time off, and then you came back. I mean, you guys went to school and whatnot. Is that the story?
Well, we mainly sort of sat down, especially me and you, we sort of, especially during the quiet period of having, while we're recruiting the bassist and the drummer, we sort of sat down and sort of wrote a few more tracks for the upcoming, maybe sort of back burner for the album in the future, and just focus on our live shows as well, didn't we? So,
we sort of set time aside to work on developing the songs, really, to make sure that when we actually come down to the studio to track them, that they're exactly as we wanted them to be, really. So that's kind of what we spent the time on.
And I think it has now. We've now put forward what we wanted to do idea-wise on stage, and it's definitely paid off. We seem to be
absolutely
making a good impression with fans-wise.
Well, I was going to sit there and say, because you guys do have a decent-sized catalog. I know some of these tracks that are on the new EP, Beyond This Land, are some songs that you guys have been playing for quite some time now in your set list. Now, I know there's some other tracks as well, too, that you guys are sitting on. I mean, can the fans out there that have heard your catalog and some of those songs, can they expect those to pop up on a future EP or future release as well?
Absolutely, yeah. I think once this EP kind of dies away, we're going to start looking at getting back into the studio to do an album. And I think most of our catalogue, all of our hard hitting tracks, all of our tracks that we want the people to hear and sort of perceive us as a hard rock band. I mean, we've got some sort of softer songs and stuff like that, which I guess we'll keep for our live shows to add a bit of dynamic to the shows. But in terms of our actual recordings and stuff, we'll put all the hard hitting tracks sort of on there. But I think most of what people will hear in the future will be on an album.
We tend to hit the studio, and we create a track over a couple of weeks, and we then sort of look at it and go, I'll tell you what, we'll stick this on the album, or maybe bring it back, and then we sort of think, we'll definitely, it's got to be. We know when it got that album sort of feel, isn't it? Yeah.
We can kind of tell a single apart from an album track. I mean, sometimes obviously every band has to have album tracks. It's not everything can be a single release. So.
Well, you got like I said, the new EP, Beyond This Land, and I'm just going to run off the name of the tracks real quick. You got Legacy, Twisted, End of Us All, Beyond This Land. Is there some sort of a theme going on there? Because it's kind of an interesting, track titles on there as well, too, but you also listen to some of the tracks, too. There's some interesting stuff going on like End of Us All. I mean, Beyond This Land. I mean, is there something going on there? Was there some sort of like a little mini story behind the EP, or is this just some tracks that you guys just wound up putting together, and this is what you guys came up with?
I think it's more the latter, to be honest. There's not really been any concept of any overall overlaying story to the whole thing. I think, it's just kind of the way that it's worked out, really. We just sort of sat down and said, these are the four tracks that we want on, and it's just kind of played out that way.
I think, really. Like Snake Eyes, when it sort of represents the style and the theme towards sort of Twisted, ideally we like to sort of have some sort of, with Twisted sort of bring something over and not forget about what the first EP, lyrics were based on, and the style, and say like Snake Eyes and Twisted has got that very sort of southern style.
Similar styles, yeah.
Hard Rockology Show, we're talking with Jordan and Ian of Scream Serenity. Guys, you're both guitar players. I'll start with you first, Ian. Some of the influences growing up. Who got you into playing guitar?
Tough question. It's always a tough question. Well, I tend to like to follow bands, things from the early days like Breaking Benjamin, Theory of Dead Man, and Alter Bridge as well. When I first saw Alter Bridge here in Norwich in the UK, and I was absolutely blown away by Mark Tremonti's playing. I've sort of followed him through sort of the very early days towards when they get a bit more commercialised with Creed, and then, like I say, he then dropped into Alter Bridge. He's just got to be one of the main influences that I've had growing up. But I was self-taught when I was guitar anyway, so it was just more down to sort of ear. Eric Clapton, I read his autobiography, that got me more into guitar, and that's when I started looking more into what sort of style guitar I'm playing, and then I suppose that sort of grew upon the heavy progression side, and you've got to have the old James Hetfield as well in there as well. So,
well, Jordan, can you top that, or it doesn't even matter? I mean, two different influences right there.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I mean, Tremonti and probably more Kennedy is probably one of my sort of more bigger influences. I'm much more, when you listen to the EP, you can kind of hear that in our two different sort of styles of playing. I mean, Twisted, for example, the first solo, that kind of guitar solo that kicks in on that song is Ian, and then I come in, with a lot sort of, smoother, sort of more melodic, and we it kind of complements each other really well. But in terms of influences, I mean, I grew up listening to sort of Bryan Adams and early kind of Bon Jovi stuff, really. So it was all, very, very kind of commercial, melodic sort of stuff, and I think that does kind of come through in our songs. I mean, we have really kind of heavy, chunky guitar riffs, and then, very, very well, what we feel are very, very melodic choruses.
That's where my main influence for heavy riffs wise, creating riffs is that Hetfield style, and then the solo bassist has got to be, I think like Mark Tremonti's got that nice sweepstakes sort of guitar licks and legatos and things like that.
Well, what I have to say is I want to say thank you guys for bringing back the 40-second minute long guitar solos. I mean, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to hear some of that, man. When I had a chance to listen to the new EP,
we enjoyed it yesterday.
Oh hell, it was kick ass. I mean, getting those nice minute guitar solos, and then you got John on drums with his drum fills and all that. I mean, I think overall, the way you put this album together, you really highlighted each member of the band, from, like I said, the guitar playing, the bass playing, to the drums, to the vocals as well. So I actually think this is a great sounding album. I think it really shows how tight of a band you guys really are. So from that regard, I think you guys have a really excellent 4-track EP here.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
It means a lot, mate.
Well, you guys mentioned, we have in our notes, you got a video that you shot for the EP. Tell us what the video is going to be. It's going to be coming out pretty soon. And how was it to actually do a video? You guys, this is your first video, right?
It is our first video, yeah. We actually used a local music venue to shoot it. I mean, they were kind enough to kind of let us go in and sort of shoot it, so it looks like we're kind of playing live on stage. And it was really good fun. I mean, we're hoping that it's going to be out sort of early next year, but I guess we'll kind of see how it goes with editing. So Obviously it's our first video again, so we want to make sure that we put it out there, and we want to put something out there that makes us shine, that makes us stand out. We feel that the music does that, so we want the video,
how we are on stage. It's just the energy as well, isn't it? We show the energy of what we do in regards to what we do on the EP as well. So it's got a lot of energy.
Absolutely, yeah.
So the video's for what song?
Beyond This Land.
Okay, because I want to make sure we mention that, because it's going to be like the title of the EP.
That's of course, yeah. Absolutely, yeah. The video is for Beyond This Land, which is the single off of the EP. Obviously, the title track as well. So we feel that that's kind of the best song on the. Well, I mean, obviously everybody has their own favourites, but we felt for us that was the best song to put out as a single, and the one to shoot the video for. Obviously, with it being the title track of the EP as well, it just kind of makes sense.
All right, guys, if somebody hasn't had a chance to see you guys play live, two-part question here. What can they expect from a Scream Serenity concert? And if you had to pick one track from your catalog that basically says, this is who we are, which one song would you guys pick? If that was your one shot to impress somebody out there, to sit there and say...
Like a big record executive.
Yeah, you have to listen to this one track. Which one track from your catalog are you guys going to play for them? And what can the fans out there expect if they go see you guys live?
Well, when it comes to a live show, to be honest with you, they can just expect just pure energy, I think. From the moment that we're on stage, we put on a show, and regardless of the amount of people in the crowd, that they get that same show from us. So no one ever feels left out when they, when they see us. If there's one person in the room or there's 1,000, it's the same show that we put on, and people appreciate it. I think one of the main things that people come up to us and say is that we just look like we're having an absolute blast up on stage. We're just having so much fun. I mean,
we don't take it too seriously. That's the thing.
That's the thing. I mean, we're very passionate about what we do, and that comes across in the EP, we think, and also we have fun with it. We absolutely love playing live. We really enjoy each other's company. We're all great friends outside of the band as well, and that comes across on stage, and the fans see that.
Yeah.
All right, so now, like I said, what's the one track? This is your one shot. What's the one track that you think basically says this is who Scream Serenity is? If you had to pick one track from your catalog, which track are you guys picking?
For me, I think Save Yourself. Personally, that's me. I don't know about Ian.
I'm sitting here like just hands in the back of my head. I think I really, really enjoy playing When the Night Comes, because it's just full hard hitting all the way through, even through the solos. There's non-stop. It's just full hard hitting, lots of energy. What we do on stage, off stage, and it's just for me, it's got to be When the Night Comes.
All right, we're talking with the guys from Scream Serenity, Jordan and Ian, and if you haven't had a chance, we recommend picking up their first EP, Withered Hearts to Withered Bones, but more importantly, they got a brand new EP coming out, Beyond This Land, which will be available at the end of November into early December. Highly recommend picking that up as well. So, guys, where can the fans out there, if they want to pick up the new EP, where can they go ahead and get their hands on this?
Well, any kind of international fans we have can order from the website, which is screamserenity.com. They can go on there. The EP will be available on there. They're just sort of I mean, in dollars, I imagine that it'll probably be about $3, maybe $4,
something like that. Yeah.
So, yeah, and then we'll post it out, international shipping, and they'll receive it in the post. But for fans in the UK over here, they can do the same, or they can pick it up at a show.
All right, guys. Well, we want to thank you for coming on the Hard Rockology Show, and
thanks for having us, guys.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your time.
If you guys would take us out of this segment with a song from the EP, tell us a little bit about it and take us out of the segment.
Okay, yeah. So this track is the title track of the EP, Beyond This Land. Essentially, the song is about someone who has led a very bad life and has relished in it and doesn't want to leave that life. But it goes into that person kind of passing away. and sort of slipping down into oblivion, as the lyrics suggest, into hell, and basically becoming at least some kind of overlord of that hell, and finding that they absolutely love that even more. So, you know, it's basically about a very, very evil, bad person who loves it.
Potentially be the Screamer.
It could potentially be the Screamer.
All right, guys, that's Scream Serenity. All right, here's the title track from their latest EP, Beyond This Land. Crank it up.
I fall to oblivion.